Good morning, students. So after completion of the comparisons between 4 feeder and 6 feeder patterns, and also the benefits derived through the optimal location of the substation. So today's class we are going to be discuss classification of substations. Yes. So classification of substations according to design. So generally, the substations are classified according to the insulation provided between the conductors or equipments, everything. So there are two types. One is the gas insulated substations, other one is air insulated substations. So fortunately, we are not having gas insulated substation in this subject. Gas insulated substations is a specialized topic in HV engineering, high voltage engineering. So there is no need to discuss about the gas insulated substations here. So the other one is air insulated substations. So air insulated substation, in the sense, the insulation between one feeder to other feeder or one conductor to other conductor is the normal air, atmospheric air. So therefore, these air insulated substations are mainly classified as indoor substations. One is the indoor substation, other one is outdoor substations. Yes. So these names are very familiar to us. Indoor substation, in the sense the substation located inside a building. Outdoor substation, in the sense the substation is located in normal free space. Yes. So let us start from the indoor substations. So what is the indoor substation? See here, in this type of substation, the apparatus is installed within the substation building. So these substations are called the indoor substation. So substation, in the sense, it is a combination of apparatus to perform converting high voltage into low voltages and supplying to the consumers. So either it may be indoor substation or outdoor substation, the functionality is same. Convert the high voltages into low voltages, transform the high voltages into low voltages and supply to the consumers. So what is the difference between indoor substations and outdoor substations, in the sense? So in some specialized areas like Himalayas, otherwise a coastal belt, where a atmosphere is contaminated with some other moisture like snow, salt. So due to this, the apparatus lifetime is vanished very fast. So resulting, all apparatus and equipments are protected with a building. So in this type of substations are known as the indoor substations. So where the rains are continuously raining, some areas are continuously raining, and that means that the rainfall is very high. So the conductors or feeders or insulators is continuously exposing to the atmospheric conditions, so that the life of the apparatus reduces drastically. To avoid this one, what can you do in the sense? The assembly of all apparatus to perform converting high voltage into low voltages are initiated within a building. That is nothing but simply the indoor substations. Apart from that, nothing is there. These substations are designed for voltage up to 11 kV, but can be erected for 33 kV also. And one more important point here, indoor substations generally used as a cables. So that's why cables can be stand up to 11 kV or 33 kV, not more than that. Why? Because if load increases, the insulation, the overheats are generated and it may be a chance for insulation failure and cable is to be burned. That's why there is a limitation in indoor substations. The voltage level cannot exceed more than 11 kV or 33 kV. So these are located where these substations are located in the sense. So these are located where the surrounding atmosphere is contaminated with impurities like snow, salt, and heavy rains, which may damage the equipment. This is the only reason why we go for the indoor substations. And one more important drawback here is whenever the range of the substation has to be increased, it is not possible. Why? Because already existing substation has a fixed rating. Yes? So these substations are installed in industries. The extension is not possible. This is the limitation of indoor substations. What the indoor substation internally having? Along with the operators required for converting high voltage into low voltage, and along with these operators, and it also having some of the auxiliary type of instruments in the substation. So those are storage batteries. Storage batteries are one of the important when the power is having some trouble. Yes. So storage batteries are used to operate the relays in substations, and batteries are the heart of the substations, especially we are talking about indoor substation. And second one is fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers in the sense, if load increases drastically, there may be a chance to burn any cable or fire, whatever it may be, happen. So fire extinguishers are the protection for the indoor substations. And also emergency lighting in substation in case of failure of supply is also essential. So these are, in addition to the equipmentary required to convert high voltages into low voltage. In addition to this, the storage batteries, fire extinguishers, emergency lighting in substation, all these are the auxiliary type of equipmentary which is there in the indoor substations. Yes, so simply you have to know about what is the indoor substations and what it has, why it is to be located like this. Yes, and similarly you go for the outdoor substations. Yes, what is the outdoor substation? So outdoor substation, it is very familiar. The substations, majority of the almost all the students having awareness on the substation, and substation generally located outside the town or village. Yes, so generally when high voltages are required, high loads are required, we will go for the outdoor substations. As per the voltage above 66 kV, outdoor substation is used. Voltage above 66 kV, outdoor substation is used. In outdoor substations, equipment is installed outdoor, openly. All the equipment is installed openly. So it is because of high voltages, the spacing between conductors and the space required for the switches, circuit breakers, and other equipment becomes so great that it is not economical to install the equipment indoor. So you see here, due to the larger voltages, the spacing between conductor and conductor is very high, and the spacing between the switches is very high. Otherwise, due to ionization, there may be a chance to short circuit. So to avoid this problem, large spacing is required in the outdoor substation. So there are two types of outdoor substations. One is the two types of outdoor substations. One is the pole mounted substation, another one is foundation mounted substation. Pole mounted in the substation, in the sense, the main heart of the substation is a transformer, where the transformer converting one level of voltage into another level of voltage. That means that one level of voltage is transformed into other level of voltage, but both voltages are AC. Here there is no conversion, but level of voltage is converting from one level to another level. One is the pole mounted substation, other one is foundation mounted substation. So pole mounted substation is what? Yes. So pole mounted substation generally in generally discussing, there are 4 poles which are located. 4 poles are located. 4 poles are arranged or laid in the ground with a square shape, and middle of the poles there may be arrangement like H shape. So to mount the transformer on the H shape steel rods, so that without touching the ground, the transformer functioning for converting high voltage into low voltage. Yes. So these types of substations are erected for mounting distribution transformer of capacity about up to 200 kVA. Up to 200 kVA, the pole mounted substations are used. The substation is located near the consumers and are cheapest, simple and small in size. Yes. So it is having so much of benefits. It is to be located at the load centers. Now, all equipment are mounted on the supporting structures, and these equipment are outdoor types. Yes. So the H-type pole is used for supporting structure, and HTP is installed for protection purpose. So lightning arresters are also used to protect the transformer against the surge, and earthing is also used to protect the transformer. So these are the generalized points belongs to the outdoor substations. The pole mounted substation. Similarly, foundation mounted substation we can observe. In foundation mounted substations, a concrete beam, it is generally observing in roadside, a concrete strong beam is to be constructed. On the beam, the transformer is to be initiated. Yes. So these substations are built in open place, and in this type of substations, all the equipment is assembled into one unit enclosed by a fence from the point of view of safety. So these substations are above 200 kVA. To select the site for these substations, there should be a good access for heavy transportation. The extension is also possible in foundation mounted substation. So these are the generalized points. Yes. So let us come for the what are the advantages of outdoor substations over indoor substations. So advantages point of view, outdoor substation, all the equipments are visible. Yes. So is there any fault arises? It is directly observed by the human, and you can easily rectify that fault. Yes. Fault can be located easier than indoor substations. Yes. So indoor substations, once fault is arise, identification of fault is too difficult. But outdoor substation is not like this. So the fault can be easily recognized and easily rectified in the outdoor substation. Why? Because all the components and equipments are visible. Yes. Next, extension of installation is easier. If required, extension is easily possible. Yes. Next, building materials required. There is, I think, very little, except control room, there is no building materials, whatever it may be. Yes. Building materials required for the outdoor substation is smaller than the indoor substations. Next, outdoor substation can be easily repaired. Why? Because already we discussed at this point, all the equipment is visible, so that proper accessing for the fault location is, and you can easily reach it to the particular faulty section, and you can easily repair. Why? Because it is located spaciously. Yes. And the construction work required is comparatively smaller, and cost of the switchgear installation is low. Yes. Construction work is also very small compared to indoor substations, and cost of the switchgear installation is also low. Similarly, disadvantages of outdoor over indoor substations generally. What are the disadvantages? In the sense, space required for the outdoor substation is more. So outdoor substation, due to high voltages, it is to be established in a open place with huge area. Yes. So that too, it should be possible for future extension also. That is the reason at the time of establishment, there is a substation is to be established in a huge space. The cost of the place is very high. In case of outdoor substations, more protection devices are required for the protection against lightning surges. So, in case of outdoor substations, all equipment are openly initiated so that there may be a chance for lightning. So, therefore, lightning arresters, everything is to be completely, a lightning arrestor shield is to be protected the entire station. Yes. So the length of the control cables required is more. The length of the control, why? Because physical equipment is operated somewhere, control room is operated somewhere, and the physical equipment is to be interfaced to the control room with the long cables. So, but in indoor substation, everything is in the same room. That's why the cable requirement is very less. But in this case, the cable requirement is very high. Yes. So, with this, the classification of the substations based upon the design, indoor substations as well as the outdoor substations. What is the indoor substations? What is the outdoor substations? And what is the advantages as well as the disadvantages of indoor as well as outdoor substations? The advantages of outdoor substations are the drawbacks of indoor substations. The disadvantages of outdoor substations are the advantages of indoor substation. That's all. These two will be changed vice versa. So, thank you. We will meet in the next class.